Good afternoon. Just a quick video on the humble Peco SL-U77, the new Unifrog curved point. This would work or be applicable to any of the new Unifrog points. I particularly like this one because it's the first Streamline one for the curve point, which can be turned into an Electrofrog. The Unifrog is the new design from Peco. It replaces both an insular frog and an Electrofrog point, and it's got some advantages and some disadvantages. For me personally, it's a bit of a disadvantage. It's a bit of a backward step compared to the Electrofrog, but that's just for my particular circumstances. As it stands, the frog has got an insulated frog here. Although it's metal, it is insulated as it comes out the packet. There's a gap from the frog to the two outer rails there, but these are linked to their respective rail guide. So all four rails here are alive all the time. This one is obviously connected to this one is connected to that one, and you don't need any of the insulated rail joiners that you do need with Electrofrog points. All well and good. The rails here and here are also wired. So that one is wired to that one is wired to that one. So again, these rails, as it comes in towards the frog, are all joined and have permanent power. The two, I think, are they the check rails? I'm not sure. And the frog itself are insulated. Now, in my particular circumstance, the point where I'm going to use this is right next to where I sit. I don't have any motors on it. I don't have any switches on it. I just manually switch it. And that's the way I want to keep it. But I also want it to work like an Electrofrog. And normally when you read the literature from Peco, they say, oh, well, there's a wire under the frog, wire it into a switch, and when you flick your switch, you know, blah, 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 it'll go. Well, brilliant, but I don't have switches. I just do that. So, can I get around it? The answer is yes, you can. When you turn the point over, hopefully you can all see that, you'll find that there's the wire joining that outer rail to the one inside and one there. So that's how the blades get power. And there's the other joining wires. So the external, get that in focus. So the external rails leading out to the point get power as well. What you can do though, what I've discovered, and what I'm going to do with this one, is if I cut these two rails here, if I cut these two wires here, what that means is that's insulated, that's insulated, that's insulated. None of these have power. But what I can then do is from this point here, you can wire up to those two rails to the frog. So one wire to there, a second wire to there. Therefore, the frog, these two rails, and these two rails are all part of one, if you like, circuit. They're all connected together. They all have the same polarity. And therefore, the switching action determines whether the power comes from this rail or that rail, based on what comes through the blades. And hey presto, you are back to what would be just like an Electrofrog. But what you then have to do, is because of these wires, just at this point, between the frog and the wires, cut through the rails there and there, and a blob of solder in the joint. And the reason I do that is because I do run some old Hornby Triang trains, and they have fat wheels in terms of the actual depth of the wheel, and they tend to arc at this point when they're going around the curves. So by chopping the rail there and there, these are still powered from these two, but I've got much more of a clearance for the wheels. And a little blob of solder in that point will mean that these two short rails and the frog and these are all part of one circuit, which is switchable by that. Okay, one modified point. Now, a bit lucky you can see, you're going to focus. There we go. There's a small blob of solder just joining two short rails with the frog, and I've cut through the rails there. So now that whole area has the same polarity based on which way you flick. Come on, focus, focus, come on. Based on which way you flick the blades. So, and there's the two wires I've used to join from the blades to the back of the frog. So effectively makes it one complete circuit. All four of the rails leading off are still joined as they were originally, but the joins here have been snipped so that the blades are separated from the outer rails, and it's just relying on the blades joining the rails when you flick the point left or right. So that means we now have an Electrofrog with a much bigger area here that won't see arcing when my old Hornby Triang trains run over it. Okay. Well, the point is back in situ with its modified frog, now working as an Electrofrog really. And the ultimate test has to be probably this particular locomotive, the Hornby Ruston 48DS. It's got the smallest wheels and the shortest wheelbase of just about anything. I've uncoupled the wagon that comes with it, which has extra pickups, so it's purely operating off the four wheels of this particular teeny tiny locomotive. I think that you can call success. Oops, a bit faster. But it crawls over that just beautifully. There we go.